Hi, I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome to Lidline Sports with my co-host, Seattle sports enthusiast, Renault Bean. We call him Pepe. What up, bro?
Hey, what be up?
Magic to the Lakers. We talked about it last week. Can you believe, though, we thought Magic, or I hope Magic would go back to the Lakers, but can you believe that Jeannie Buss fired her brother?
I can believe it because I know that they have a tumultuous relationship.
Tumultuous is a word.
Oh, yeah.
They do have some kind of relationship that is, well, to put it mildly, has been dysfunctional. So I am glad. I said all along, I don't know if I've had this conversation with you, but I've had it with my other friends, that I couldn't wait till they got rid of Jimmy Buss and Mitch Kupchak. They both are 2 years overdue.
Way overdue.
Like, way overdue. I'm like, man, and when I heard that they had hired Magic, I was ecstatic. And then when I heard that they fired Jimmy Buss, well, they just took his duties from him,
right,
from running the basketball side of the team.
VP, he was VP of basketball operations.
Yeah. And so they placed Magic Johnson as president of basketball operations, and now he's kicked off of the basketball side and just onto the business side. And Mitch Kupchak is on the street looking for a job. We'll get back into more of that later on the show. We've got a lot coming up. We got to talk about, of course, DeMarcus Cousins being traded to the Pelicans. We've got football talk coming up, combines, quarterbacks out there on the free agent market.
Yes.
We've got baseball to talk about. So stay with us for this next 50 or so minutes on Lidline Sports. We've got a lot to talk about. But let's get started with DeMarcus Cousins to the New Orleans Pelicans.
That is right.
Are you down with that trade? Are you in agreement with that? You think that's a good trade?
Well, on Sacramento's part, it wasn't good. They actually had a better offer before they settled on this one. The reason why they hurried up with this particular deal that they made is because they thought that the owner, Vivek Ranadive, would change his mind.
Yeah, good job on that, Vivek Ranadive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's been a proponent of Cousins. However, once they said that Buddy Hield was in on the deal, he did like him. So once they found out that he liked him, they went and hurried up and made this deal.
Okay, so Vlade Divac said that the owner had nothing to do with the trade and that it was all him.
That's what he said. But he later admitted that they had a better offer on the table 2 days before and didn't take it.
Well, they say that Vlade Divac 2 weeks earlier had vehemently denied that he was trying to trade Boogie Cousins.
Right. They even said that they had an imminent deal with him, a long-term extension.
Yeah, actually, Divac said that it was the agents that messed up the good trade that he had 2 days prior to trading him to the Pelicans. However, I have some insider knowledge.
Okay.
And I can't divulge my resources, but no, I just know that the coaching staff, I think, had gotten tired of Cousins' antics, and you really can't build a team around a volatile player, a player that gets disqualified 17 times out of 30-some-odd games.
Right.
I mean, you can't really build a squad behind him. I wish Boogie Cousins the best. I heard his presser yesterday. He was sounding real good, but wait till things don't go his way. Wait till he doesn't touch the ball the way he likes to touch the ball.
Right.
I believe that what a person is what a person is going to be, because people don't change that much. So he's got to prove to me that he's going to change and be a team player. And he joked about in the presser about his passion, but he's got to bridle that. I mean, he acts like a spoiled kid.
Well, he's acted like that since he was in Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's no shock.
Absolutely.
And, you know, these recent, like you mentioned, recent technical fouls. He had a recent incident with the Golden State fan. So, you know, Sacramento said, listen, we just decided that we can't go forward with him anymore.
Yeah, I agree. They are in the rebuilding mode. Actually, they said that they are trying to build their team around Buddy Hield. They also got back Tyreek Evans, and they got Langston Galloway in the deal.
Right.
They've got a #1 pick. The Pelicans' #1 pick is protected. So
yeah, that's for 2017, correct?
Yeah. If the Pelicans have a first, second, or third, they can't get that pick. But if they finish lower than third in the draft order, then that pick will go to the Sacramento Kings along with a second-round pick. But it frees up $200 million that Cousins was slated to make in the new contract. Cousins actually is going to lose $29 million by going to the Pelicans.
Right.
Because the way the collective bargaining is set up now, to keep players from going to other teams as free agents, you can sign your player for more than you can sign a free agent from another team.
Right.
So any team that would sign Cousins in free agency, he will still be a free agent at the end of the season. So New Orleans still has to re-sign him.
Oh, yeah, they got work to do.
Yeah. And so he will sign for $29 million less. That was $29 million reasons why he wanted to stay in Sacramento. I want to know, is it the worst trade? They're saying it's one of the worst trades in NBA history. Is it the worst?
Well, that's going to remain to be seen. Like I said, they did have a better offer, but it was from the same team. You know, the offer was New Orleans. They switched the #1 pick in 2019 to a second pick in 2017. So, you know, they did that because in the event, even if the Pelicans traded a 2019 first-round pick to the Kings of 2017, the second-round pick the teams eventually settled on, it's reasonable to think that Sacramento still could have gotten more for Cousins had the organization let the market develop a little bit more. So that's the reason why they held off and nixed on the better deal.
Yeah, let's look at some of the worst trades in NBA history. I think that one of them, arguably #1, when our Sonics traded Scottie Pippen to the Chicago Bulls for OP.
I agree.
For Olden Polynice.
Horrific. Now, at the time, a lot of us didn't know who Scottie was. I knew who Olden Polynice was because he played at the University of Virginia. I was living in Virginia at the time, so I knew who he was, and I couldn't believe it because I didn't see anything in him that was all that good. I mean, he was. What the Sonics have that they was their #6, I think, or #8 pick, somewhere around thereabouts.
All I know is Olden Polynice averaged 5 points, 4.5 rebounds in 5 years with the Sonics, and in those 5 years, Pippen won 6 championships with the Bulls, went on to be named one of the 50th greatest players in the NBA. Yeah. And then won another championship after that with Michael Jordan. Yeah, it was hard, you know, Pippen coming out of Central Arkansas.
Right.
So you really didn't know, like on draft day when you saw the trade go down. But as history revealed itself, that was a bad trade. There was also, do you remember this one? Kareem to the Lakers while he averaged 30 points and 14 rebounds and 3 blocks per game for Junior Bridgman, Dave Myers, and Elmore Smith.
I do remember it. I do. Elmore Smith was a shot blocker extraordinaire. And Junior Bridgman actually was a pretty good player. But let's be honest, getting rid of Kareem for those three, no, doesn't match.
How do you trade a dude that's scoring 30 points a game and averaging 14 rebounds?
Well, he wanted out, so they had to. So that's the reason why they got back what they got back. That was the best they could get.
That was the best they could get?
Yeah.
Whew, what a deal. Jerry West, boy, he's swindled them. So more recently, we could look at OKC trading James Harden to the Houston Rockets for Kelvin Martin and Jeremy Lamb and draft picks, which were used for Steven Adams and Mitch McGary.
And where is Mr. Kelvin Martin? Oh, he retired.
Where is any of them? Well, Steven Adams is still there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But where are any? Who's Mitch McGary? He played at Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah, those were some bad trades. So we'll see what becomes of the Boogie Cousins trade. They play tonight as we are recording this, so I don't know what is going on in that game. We'll try to find out.
Talent-wise, Davis and Cousins, that's a formidable front line right there. Just those two alone.
There is no doubt that Boogie Cousins is talented. But the other stuff.
Oh, of course.
The other stuff that he brings to a championship team needs chemistry and camaraderie.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have chemistry and camaraderie, then it is hard to win championships.
Well, let's hope that the personality that Anthony Davis has and his approach to the game can rub off on Boogie.
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll see. Speaking of trades, let's talk some football.
Okay.
If you're the Cleveland Browns, this is my question to you, Pep. Do you try to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? You're not looking like you're enthusiastic about that. Garoppolo played well.
Yeah.
While Brady was out.
Right.
People are high on Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
Do you trade for Garoppolo? Hey, listen, folks, if you're an NFL team, the only way you're getting to the playoffs is if you have a playoff caliber quarterback. Everything starts with the QB.
It does.
Or, if not Garoppolo, do you go into the draft and take DeShawn Watson with your number one pick?
Well, we've seen the movie before as far as Garoppolo. And I don't mean him particularly, but I mean getting a guy that appears to be solid and, a good, capable backup for the superstar. And then once he gets on a team on his own, can't handle it. We've seen that with Matt Castle, and we've also, to a lesser extent, seen that with Matt Flynn. So in that regard, I would be hesitant to look at Garoppolo and make a trade to bring him in. On the upside for DeShawn Watson, you got to look at Dak Prescott. Watson has been compared to him. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be Dak and do what Dak did for the Cowboys that Watson can do with the Browns. I'm not saying that. But to me, I would go that route because Cleveland's a long way from being good. And so why not develop a potential superstar, have him in the fold now, than a quarterback that's been in the league, that has been okay, but do you expect him to be a superstar like you project Watson? I don't know. So my point of view, I'll go with Watson.
I agree. I would go with Watson too, for the simple reason that we have seen the paradigm in Russell Wilson. Why would you spend all that money on Garoppolo when you can spend minimum money on a rookie quarterback and develop the quarterback like the Seahawks did Russell Wilson, and you know that you've got a bunch of other fixes to make on your defense and on your O-line. So you got plenty of money if you don't spend it on arguably, well, not even arguably, it is the most expensive position in football, the quarterback.
Yeah. So then you could spend money on your offensive line, get that together, and some other key positions. Probably get a running back, because you need a running game, of course, to go with your good quarterback. So, to help him out. So, yes, I agree totally. Go with the minimum money, develop the quarterback, and then spend money elsewhere and bring them all up together.
Right now they got DeShawn Watson listed as the number 2 quarterback in the draft behind this dude, Mitch Trubisky,
right,
from North Carolina.
Yes.
How is that even possible? This dude, he's only played 1 year. He doesn't have better numbers.
No.
Have you heard any rationale as to why?
No, I have not.
I don't get it. They say that DeShawn Watson is not tall enough.
We've heard that movie before.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's 6'2".
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
So he's not 5'9".
No, he isn't. It doesn't make any sense.
That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Right now, SB Nation says that number 1 is Myles Jarrett going to Cleveland. Number 2, the 49ers, is Trubisky. And number 3 to the Bears would be DeShawn Watson. And that's the current. And Watson has said that he will attend the NFL Combine in Indianapolis because he wants to show his full repertoire and arsenal. He wants to show his passing skills, running, meeting. Yeah, he said meeting. What was that? Listen and learn skills? Hey, okay, I'll go with that.
If I was Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't go to the Combine. For what?
Right. I don't disagree with you.
For what? He's proven himself on the field. He's led Clemson to 2 straight championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does he have to prove? He's got.
Yeah, he's led them to 2 straight championship games. They lost.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
2 straight championship games. They lost one. And they won the most recent one.
Absolutely.
And the reason why they lost the first one was not his fault.
No.
He still balled out.
Yes.
He has a 67% completion rating. He threw for 4,593 yards and 41 touchdowns. Check this out, folks. This guy threw 579 passes and was only intercepted 14 times.
That's phenomenal.
That's balling out.
Yes, it is.
Right? That's an accurate QB. So the first thing I look for in QBs is their accuracy, their arm strength, and their accuracy.
And look who he's throwing to. Is he throwing to potential first-round draft pick wide receivers?
Mike Williams might be a first-round pick.
Right. But, I mean, overall, throughout his career.
Yeah.
Other than him. So, you know, if you look at that, if he's throwing to guys that are pretty decent but nothing, super, that tells you a lot about what he is.
Mel Kiper has him going number 10 overall to the Buffalo Bills. He's been right a lot. He's been wrong a lot, too.
Well, we know one thing he's wrong on, that head of his. Wrong.
He's had that same hairdo for like 3 decades now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's glued.
It probably is.
With J.B. Weld. You know, if you want to be a sponsor, Mr. Weld, yes, call us.
I'm going to throw you for a curve right now.
Uh-oh.
Would you like to see any of these running backs with our Seattle Seahawks? Adrian Peterson, Charles from Kansas City.
Jamal Charles. Man.
Or Doug Martin from Tampa Bay. They're all free agents.
Oof. Okay. Well, let's start with AP. Who wouldn't want him? Now, he's been on the decline, as we've seen last year or two.
Can't stay on the field.
He's been injured. The Seahawks running game, I've always said this. People, I don't know, they seem to dismiss this. They're not good on pass protection, but they are good at run blocking.
Not this year.
No, but I mean when you have a good running back. I mean, Thomas Rawls last year ran well. We know what Marshawn, but that's Marshawn.
I love Thomas Rawls. Thomas Rawls, his whole deal is, can he last 16 games and into the playoffs?
No, we
not been
proven yet to see that.
Right. So I don't know if it's been so much the Seahawks line or if it's been Marshawn Lynch's yak, that's yards after contact.
Right.
Right. So
AP got some of that.
Yeah, AP does have some of that, and the Seahawks need some of that in a running back.
They need a lot of that.
So if it's not going to be Thomas Rawls, if he's not healthy, he's too little, I keep saying, to keep trying to act like he's Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
And running over people.
Yeah, they got to stop with that cloning thing that they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean,
cut that out.
I mean, there's only been one little dude that's been able to do that, and that's Walter Payton. Right? Walter Payton would run you over.
Yes.
But he was durable.
Very.
So I would like to see all those backs that I mentioned, Doug Martin.
Now, it's another little guy.
But he's tough.
Tough.
He's a bowling ball little guy.
Right.
Thomas Rawls is not so much built like him. He's got a lower center of gravity, Rawls is a kind of quick-footed running back. He reminds me of what's the guy's name that played for Jacksonville that called him a Pocket Rocket?
I don't remember.
From UCLA.
Yes.
I can't think of what his name is, though.
I know who you're talking about, too, and I have him in my head.
If you all know what we're talking about, please put your comment on Facebook or send us an email at lidlinesports@yahoo.com.
And I will say, you mentioned Jamal Charles, and, you know, the last 2 years, he's been hurt. He can't stay on the field.
He's fast.
But he's fast. But is he still fast? I don't know. So that, you know, that's a question mark. So out of those three, he'd probably be the last one to choose from if you want to go AP, Doug Martin, and Jamal Charles. You know, AP and Doug, you said you want to see Doug here. I wouldn't mind seeing either one of them. So.
Doug is good. He just got suspended for drug use. And so he will miss the first 4 games of the season if we did sign him. So
yeah, I would think that they wouldn't probably want to go that route.
They probably wouldn't, but you never know. With the Seahawks, I don't have any kind of rhyme or reason for the guys they pick up. But there's also Alex Collins, who came on of late as a Seahawks running back, and C.J. Prosite, if he could stay healthy too. So
that's the thing. I did like what I've seen from Prosite, especially. That guy seems like he's the real deal. However, he can't stay on the field. I mean, every time he got hurt on a great play.
Yeah. I would like to see us try to position ourselves to draft Leonard Fournette from LSU. Yes. That's what I'd like to see. I don't know what round he's going to go in, but Leonard Fournette is tough. He has good yard after contact. He's a grown man running the football. 2 years in 14 and 15, he had over 1,000 yards. He had 843 yards this year, only because his carries were cut in half to less than half, to 129. He still averaged 6.5 yards per carry. So I'd like to see him targeted by the Seahawks as our running back.
Well, they have to trade up to get him.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to do what you got to do. We've traded it up before.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
On to the Major League. What is this about
the intentional walks?
The intentional walk. They will not do the intentional walk anymore.
You know what? I'm not a real traditionalist, so I can live with this. I've always said that me personally, thought it was silly to just lob the ball over 4 times and then let the guy go. Just do a signal to the dugout and say, hey, let him go. I mean, they say they're doing it to save time.
The Wall Street Journal says that they'll save 14 seconds on average per game.
Yeah, but regardless of that, I think it's okay by me. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it.
As a baseball purist, you want to see it. I always think somebody's going to reach out and slap the ball.
Well, it does happen. I mean, it has happened. And,
like you see in the movies.
Pitchers do make mistakes. They accidentally put it over the plate and the guy knock it out of the park. It's happened. It's happened in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's part of baseball. So,
right.
I mean, if they're trying to shave time off the game, I think they need to look at the pitchers.
I would think so. That, and how about when they make changes, pitching changes?
Yeah.
Have a time limit there.
Yeah, a time limit there and a time limit on the mound.
Right.
Sometimes them dudes take forever to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
I'm like, quit throwing the ball to first base for no reason. Right? He's not stealing. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the guy had 6 hot dogs before the game. He ain't going nowhere.
I think that I like scoring. I just like scoring. I think soccer get rid of the goalie. You know what I mean? Let's increase the scoring. It's hard enough to score as it is. Get rid of the goalie. I'd like to see a soccer league with no goalie.
Oh.
Maybe make the goal smaller, but no goalie.
The XSL or something like
something
that.
Something like that. I bet you people be cheering like crazy.
Man.
Because you can watch a soccer game in 0-0.
An NBA game broke out 119 to 114.
It's hard. It is. It's hard. I see guys try to kick a goal and the goalie's all out of position and they still kick that joker over the net.
Yeah, all that running.
Yeah, so it's not easy without the goalie. Without the goalie would increase the score though and make it more watchable for Granville Emerson for one. I don't know about the rest of y'all. But back to basketball.
Yes.
Pep, give me some insight on this deal with Candace Wiggins, a retired WNBA veteran who says that she was bullied her 8 years because she was straight and not gay.
Well, she said that, well, first of all, she spent 8 years in the WNBA. She was with the Minnesota Lynx, Tulsa Shock, LA Sparks, New York Liberty. She averaged about 8.6 points per game. Pretty decent career. She went to the University of Stanford, and she averaged like 20 points a game there. So her scoring didn't translate over to the WNBA, but nonetheless, she won a championship. So she's had a solid career. She said in her rookie season that she was called the B word more often than any time in her life.
Yeah, I read that.
She was thrown to the ground continuously.
During games?
During games. And she said to her, it made it seem like, yeah, we know who you are and we don't like you. And, you know, she called the WNBA toxic.
Did she report anything while she was playing?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, she did an interview on Monday with the San Diego Union Tribune. And Tom Leonard reported that she said that 98% of the WNBA was gay or lesbian. Now, that's not so much of a shock per se if we said that the NBA was 30% gay. That would get a big whoa.
But 98%, that's a large number.
It is a large number.
2 out of 100
yeah.
or straight, that's I don't think it's that high. I think that would be
just because she said it doesn't make it so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going by what her experience, what she says.
She's rounding numbers up.
Way up. I'm thinking. You know, so, but you know, there's been some rebuttal by the president, Lisa Borders, the president of WNBA. She said that she was disappointed in her description of the WNBA culture being toxic, and she says that it's very, she said it was very, very harmful. Well, I'm sorry, Wiggins said that it was very, very harmful that she was targeted. Border says that she was concerned that any of our players do not have a positive experience, and I hope that anyone who feels uncomfortable would reach out to me or others in the league office. And there's also been a rookie this past year from the Chicago Sky, Imani Boyette, and she put out a blog stating that I don't want to silence you, Candace. I hope we can have an open dialogue about your experiences, but next time, I hope you ask journalists to interview someone who was there with you, okay, to, corroborate some of this.
So is she saying that she's lying? Is that what she's saying? That if she was there with her, she didn't see it going on? And
well, she says, I want to ask you to use real statistics, ask you to try not to out other women, and to stand by your fellow sisters in the WNBA. Now, I don't see where she's saying that she's lying, but perhaps
she's embellishing the truth.
Right, and she's saying that her experience wasn't that extreme.
Because I read this quote from San Antonio Stars Monique Curry, and it was confusing to me. She says, I can say in my 11 seasons in the WNBA, I've never witnessed the kind of bullying Wiggins describes in her interview. This does not mean it did not happen, but I'm proud to be a part of a league that supports inclusion and celebrates all players regardless of their race, religion, or sexuality.
Okay.
What? What? She just turned the corner real quick. Like I didn't see it happen. Okay, it happened, but I'm still proud to be in the WNBA. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I don't get it. I mean, I would hope that somebody would come out, like I told you earlier, would corroborate her story on this happening. If not, if nobody steps forward and says,
the WNBA has been very quiet. Yeah. Other than what we've told you just now, I've heard nothing.
Yeah. So all I hear is that I don't see it happening. It didn't happen to me. I'm sure it might have happened to you, which is like, okay, it must have happened. Right? But you just want to make a statement trying to support your league. I do understand that. And I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't care who you like. I don't care who you love. That's not my business.
None.
All I care about is who I love and who loves me.
Right.
So that's it. I'm not concerned about what you do. But when you take your beliefs and you try to push them on other people, then that's a problem. All right? That's a problem. We should not be trying to push our beliefs and our agenda on people. We can share with people
Right.
our beliefs, but when it turns to harassing and bullying and all of that, miss me with all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So back to basketball on the men's side.
Okay.
Kevin Garnett,
Yes.
KG, said this week that the AAU, that's the Amateur Athletic Union,
Right.
has ruined the league. And the league he's talking about is the NBA.
Right.
Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I never played in the NBA, and
But you watch it.
I watch it. Yes,
You see how it's turned.
I have. And, I'm not going to say he's wrong because he's corroborated. Kobe Bryant, 2 years ago, said that, European players are way more skillful than the AAU basketball. He said it's horrible. He said it's stupid. It doesn't teach our kids how to play the game. Big men come up, bring up the ball with all this fancy crap. It's stupid. That's what Kobe said 2 years ago. Charles Barkley 2 weeks ago said that Dwayne Wade and his crew were acting like AAU babies. So it's out there.
Oh, him and Jimmy Butler when they were complaining about their teammates?
He called them AAU babies. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
That Kevin Garnett, in his interview with Kevin McHale on NBA TV, he just sat down and told what he felt was the truth. He said, these young players, they have no discipline. They're not being taught correctly. Big men don't even know how to post up.
Yeah, well, full disclosure, I coach AAU basketball and I also coach high school basketball. And so I started coaching AAU before I got to high school, and I will agree that there are issues in AAU basketball, and some of the things that I don't like are, A, they play way too many games.
Agree.
Way too many games. And what that does, it reinforces bad habits. So where you should be learning the game, you're not. You're just out there playing. The other problem that I have is that it showcases players more than coaches showcase players more than they strategize or give game strategy.
Right.
And I agree with Kevin Garnett because it has trickled into the NBA, but I can't blame AAU solely for that trickle. I've got to give a lot of it to the one-and-done phenomenon.
Definitely.
So you got guys coming straight out of AAU. They only spend 1 year in college, then they're in the NBA, right?
Correct.
So they've really never learned how to play the game of basketball. They're talented, they got athleticism, but they don't know how to play the game. And the main thing they don't know how to do is play defense.
What's that? Because the NBA certainly doesn't know. In
The
the All-Star game, anyway.
Well, the All-Star game is Exhibit A.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Right.
Well, it's a joke. It's like they weren't even trying to play defense in the All-Star game. Like, they weren't even trying. But you take a kid in high school. If his high school coach does not know how to teach fundamental man-to-man principles or team help defense, where is he going to learn? He's not going to learn till he gets to college, and if he only stays 1 year, he will not grasped it.
No, not in 6 months.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we have kids that really don't grasp it until maybe their junior year, and every year after AAU, we got to go. It's like tearing them down and building them back up again.
That's what you're doing,
right? Like after every AAU season.
Yes.
And so you see that, especially as a basketball coach, you see kids. I mean, it's the biggest problem with my Lakers, that they don't have. They've drafted a lot of kids that can play, and they have offensive talent, but they have no defensive talent. And they can't stop anybody.
No,
they can't stop anybody. So I don't know what the cure is. The only cure is better AAU coaches. AAU coaches that really care about especially on the lower levels, like from 4th grade on, where those coaches actually teach kids the fundamentals of basketball, so that when they get to high school, they have the fundamentals of basketball. That they teach them how to play defense, because nowadays at the 4th, 5th, 6th grade level, these dudes are just playing zone.
You know, here's one thing I would, maybe you can help me out with. You're an assistant coach at a high school basketball team. If your head coach is not strong in a certain area, shouldn't you have assistants that may be strong in an area that you're not and could develop certain players? Because I see a lot of teams with 5 and 6 assistant coaches sitting on the bench with pimp suits on. What are they doing?
I cannot speak for other teams. No. I don't know what their coaches are doing.
Right.
I do know that you have to have dedicated coaches, coaches that want to learn the game of basketball, coaches that want to go to coaches' clinics, learn from other great coaches, coaches that want to study, coaches that want to sit in front of the television and break down basketball film. And I even tell kids all the time, you can learn the game of basketball now by watching ESPN, because their sports analysts break down the game.
Break it down.
So there's really no reason why you shouldn't know, but, you know, work's a 4-letter word to some people. But I hope you got to put in work. Yeah. And so I hope that across this nation that AAU coaches and high school coaches will take the challenge to actually learn.
And let's hope that this is a wake-up call.
Yes.
Because when you hear it from a guy like KG, and like I said, Kobe and Charles before that, but this one really was on, you know, it was on NBA TV.
Right.
Those other two, you know, they were innocuous conversations elsewhere. But this one was on TV in an interview, you know, so this maybe can garner some wake-up to these AA, you know, to certain AA programs to do a better job.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's take the challenge, folks. Let's do what's best for our kids. And
yes,
the other thing that is so important is that whether or not you're coaching AAU or high school, is that you have the kids' best interest in heart, and by allowing them to do whatever they want to do is not in their best interest. And as Kevin Garnett said, what we're doing when we do that is giving them a sense of entitlement, a false sense of entitlement, where they think that they are owed something,
right,
when they are not.
That's a good point.
The stars were shining dully in Nolens over the weekend. Yes.
I have a confession to make.
Go ahead.
I did not watch not 1 second of that game. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I watched last year's game, and I said, oh, no. I could see where this was. I could see the script.
My son, you are forgiven.
Hey, considering where we are right now, I appreciate that, my brother. Because, you know.
It was hard to watch.
Last year's, to me, was hard to watch.
This was worse.
Yeah, I saw the script.
The low light of the game is Giannis Antetokounmpo was on the fast break. Stephen Curry was back. He laid down on the floor.
You know, did he think it was funny?
I'm like, this is not the Harlem Globetrotters.
Mm-mm.
It's NBA.
Yeah.
He thought it was funny. But I mean, like, come on, man. That's ridiculous.
You know, until they come up with a way where these games have some kind of incentive, mean something. I don't know how they can, but I would just like to say that unless they do or until they do, this is where it's headed year after year after year. You're going to see 197 to 189 games, and for what? You know, until somebody gets 200, then what?
192, 182 to West.
Yeah, and last year they got 190 points.
That's just crazy.
I mean, you know.
They were like, "Are we going to get 200 points?" I'm like, "Who cares? Why don't you just get a layup line and have them do layups?"
So I'm thinking, remember I raised the question, is DeAndre Jordan an all-star? Now, the West scored 190 points, and they gave up 182. Now, he's supposed to be a defensive stalwart, which he is, shot blocker and all that. But really, why is he on this team, though, if they're still giving up 180-some-odd points?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if DeAndre Jordan...
He was an all-star, but nobody was there to be who they actually were.
No.
You know what I mean? They were just there for name only.
Russell Westbrook had 41 points in 20 minutes.
They were just there for name only. Guys were stepping out of the way, letting them dunk. Kyrie Irving wants a competitive all-star game.
Yeah.
Kyrie said this, and I quote, "It's all in good fun, but I definitely think that if we want a competitive game, guys will probably have to talk about it before the game."
Right. He also said the earth was flat.
Look, he was like, "Come on, bros, let's get after it on this game. What you want to do? You want to get after it in the last 2 minutes of fourth quarter, second half? They got to talk about it first."
Hey, didn't the All-Star game, correct me if I'm wrong, I remember back in the day, they used to give awards to the MVP, like a car.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. That's back when it was competitive.
That was, what was that word again?
Back when it was competitive. We want you all to comment. Let us know if you would like the All-Star game to be competitive or if you enjoyed it just the way it was with 192 points scored by one team.
Well, if you
and
9 or 10 years old, yeah, you like that. High flying.
Well, let's not insult our listeners. Let's just find out what they're like.
But they're young, so they don't know any better. That's not insulting. That's how they are.
That's all they know is move out of the way basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes, too. That's kind of a byproduct of AAU, too, because I think in AAU, kids learn how to lose because they play so many games. Right. It doesn't even matter. I noticed the kids, we can lose, and they're fine before they even walk out the locker room. Mm-hmm. I used to be 3 days messed up.
Me and you both. I took every loss personally.
Absolutely. So, let's get to my Lakers.
Yes. L.A. is your hometown.
No, Seattle's my hometown. It's a honky town.
For 20 years, it was your hometown.
LA is my home away from home. And
right.
Every time I go to LA, it does feel like home. I'm not going to lie about it.
There you go. I ain't mad at you.
We were talking about Jeannie Buss getting rid of Jimmy Buss.
Yes.
And Jeannie was fed up with mistakes from Jimmy and Mitch.
Right.
And Jimmy had said that if they weren't chasing a title by this year, he'd step aside. So get to getting.
It's about time. I mean, they started off 10-10 this year, and since then they have lost 29 out of their last 38 games. I mean, where are they going? In the last 2 years under Mitch Kupchak, their winning percentage is 27%, 276.
Yeah, and that's a problem considering the last 2 years they've had all this salary cap room, and they spent $136 million last summer on Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng.
Is Timothy Mozgov the new Jim McIlvain?
Yeah, because combined they're averaging 15.2 points and 10.3 rebounds a game for $136 million.
Oh. You know the last time the Lakers have won a playoff game?
It's been 3 years.
Sorry, sir. It's been since May 12th, 2012.
5 years?
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time coming.
So it's about time.
But I know change is going to come.
Okay, Sam. Sam Granville.
Change is going to come. We got Magic working his magic with the Lakers right now. The other reason why they had to go is because there were no Lakers in the All-Star game this year. There are no Laker All-Stars since Kobe retired. This is the first time, I don't know when the last time the Lakers didn't have an All-Star.
You know, I didn't even realize that till you just mentioned that.
First time since 1996 that there was no All-Star.
And that was the year Kobe showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And also next year, the 2018 All-Star game comes to L.A.
Oh.
So she wanted an All-Star. She wanted them to trade for Boogie Cousins so they'd have an All-Star.
Yes.
But the Sacramento Kings wanted Brandon Ingram, and they wouldn't include Ingram. Kupchak wouldn't.
Right.
So she said, you're gone too.
But then here's the thing. During all that negotiation, Buss nor Magic was even consulted about. They didn't even know until after the fact that it was even in consideration.
Exactly.
That was the last straw. Kupchak hasn't even spoken to Jenny Buss since November 1st.
Well, that streak will continue.
But the Lakers did hire a new GM.
Rob Pelinka.
Yes.
He's Kobe's former agent, and he played at Michigan with the Fab Five. He walked on. He was a walk-on.
Right.
But he's one of the most high-profile agents in the business.
Now listen to what Magic said before the hiring. He said, I want a person who understands the collective bargaining agreement.
Because he doesn't.
That's right. Who understands our team and wants to be here. Someone who wants to work with both of us, that's him and Jeannie Buss. And who knows players, knows agents, because we're going to need all of that on the resume. So, Rob Pelinka, what is he right now? He's a sports agent.
Yeah,
he represented Kobe Bryant.
Now he represents Harden,
Eric Gordon,
and Eric Gordon.
Trevor Ariza, Avery Bradley, and Andre Iguodala. But now he has to divest all that.
Right.
Because if he's going to take that position with the Lakers as GM, of course, he can no longer be an agent.
Hey, but here's the thing, though. Once he does all that, how do we know he's not going to bring Harden to L.A.?
Right. And, you know, people say, well, he doesn't have any front office experience. Well, you know what? Neither did Bob Myers at the Golden State Warriors. But Jerry West brought him in, let him run the show.
The only difference was Bob Myers was assistant GM before he became a GM. But I'll say that he does have front office experience. He has experience dealing with the front office.
Absolutely.
So he does.
It might be from a different perspective, but so what?
Transferable skills.
Right.
Right. So the fallout, though, in the black community was people were mad at Magic because he didn't hire a black GM.
Magic wants the Lakers to be great.
Right.
He was a great Laker. He's going to do what he can to get that team back to where it was. So he's going to hire who he wants to hire, whether he's black, white, green, yellow, whatever, purple. You know, he's already said that, you know, he wants to bring Kobe in the fold. And with the hiring of Pelinka, I imagine that's going to come down soon enough.
Right.
Don't know when, but I'm sure that's down the line. So I don't understand that criticism at all. Give the man, you know, let him do his thing. He works magic. He's named Magic for a reason, because what he does in business, everything he does turns to gold.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. People were just upset.
I'm tired of that.
I listened to the talk. I've read the articles, but I did not see anybody's name mentioned that could do the job. I'm like, who are you talking about?
Who are you offering?
Yeah, who are they?
If you're going to mention you want.
Who did he overlook? What are their names?
Right.
Right?
No names.
And with the situation that the Lakers are in, I don't think Magic could risk a novice. I mean, he had to bring in a power broker.
And what if he did hire a black guy? What would they say then? Oh, he just hired him because he's black. Do you want that?
Nah, I don't think anybody would have said that in this day and age. Hopefully not.
No, I think so.
However, he did start off not with a bang. Our first trading deadline ended the day at 3 o'clock Eastern time, and the Lakers traded Marcelo Huertas to Houston for Tyler Ennis.
What is this with them in Houston? Because they just traded Lou Williams to Houston for Corey Brewer. a couple of days ago.
I know they got rid of Lou. He was scoring too much. The Lakers need to lose. it's so I don't know. They completed the trade. They swapped point guards. So both Huertas and Ennis are point guards. Ennis is a third-year point guard out of Syracuse. He played with the Suns, the Bucks, the Rockets.
In his third year, and he's already played with a handful of teams. Oh boy.
Well,
he'll be out of the league by next year.
Let's hope that he's found a home. A lot of times, Pep, it has to do with finding the right.
Listen, finding a home in L.A. is not a bad thing.
Finding the right organization.
I wouldn't mind finding a home in L.A.
What's going down in the town? This town, 206, Seattle. Ooh. What's happening?
Well, you tell me, because right now what's happening is high school basketball as usual. But we talked about this earlier. Seattle has arguably the number one high school player in the nation. They have
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. And Markelle Fultz from the University of Washington. They have arguably the number one college player in the nation, men's. And they also have arguably the number one women's college basketball player in Kelsey Plum, who is a scoring machine.
3,000 plus points.
Number 2 all time.
And she's only 30 points shy of number 1.
Well, she will be number 1.
I think she will.
Shortly.
We also have, though, in the state of Washington, the number 1 college basketball team.
Gonzaga.
We got a lot of number 1s.
Yeah. So is this the basketball Mecca? Well, it would be if we had the NBA.
We have all that and no NBA franchise.
That's a travesty.
All I know is, folks, we should enjoy what's going on basketball-wise in the city of Seattle and in the state of Washington.
Pacific Northwest, baby.
Michael Porter Jr., tomorrow night, Saturday night, Bellevue College, 8 p.m. It'll be the redux of the Battle of the Porters. Michael Porter Jr., 42 points last Friday. Kevin Porter for Rainier Beach, 34 points. They were going at each other.
And they're not related.
They were going at each other.
I heard.
Man, I got there at the fourth quarter. I had to go scout some other games.
Right.
So drove from Olympia to Bellevue.
Man, that's a ride.
It was. I was all over Saturday. And it was. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that game. I think Nathan Hill will get him, but I can't wait to see. I don't know. I want to see if Kevin Porter can put together 2 games in a row like that.
Yeah, he's been very inconsistent.
He's one of the top rated players in the country too. He's under the radar though. He's not rated as high as his talent actually is. So
is he he's a junior this year or a senior?
He's a senior.
He's a senior. Okay.
He's an unsigned senior. So we look forward to that.
But he's a freak athlete, too.
He is. Oh, man. Oh, man. He blew past Michael Porter Jr. and slammed on him, and I was like, what? And then Porter came down. You know how people drive baseline and kind of throw up a floater? He double pumped it and dunked it.
Oh.
On behalf of Renault, Pepe Bean, I am Granville Emerson. Thank you for listening to Lidline Sports. You can listen to Lidline Sports on Facebook, YouTube, and find us on Twitter at Lidline Sports. Join us again next week for more great sports talk radio on Lidline Sports. Sports as we see it from just below our lid.